Alex say something. Should be good. Should be cooking. Say something, Alex. Now we're good.
Something up in here.
Now we're good. Okay. Let's see this. Alright, well, everybody, it was episode 5. Shablam. Shabloom. Shablooey.
Welcome.
I've had a really weird day, Alex. You said you've slept a little bit today. I've had like a slow, just like, I woke up, my jaw was hurting. I was all messed up. I don't know. It's had me out of whack all day.
Yeah, I just woke up like an hour ago.
We're both like
I was
dying
up
over
all night
here.
and stuff. So I thought I'd give this podcast proper sleep. Y'all didn't want me up here rambling after fucking 36 hours without sleep. Trust me.
Dude, I feel like somebody smacked me in the face with a 2x4 last night in my sleep. My jaw was messed up. Bad.
Is it like jaw or like tooth problem?
No, it wasn't. It's not a tooth thing. It was like I slept like on my chin or something, and had it set one way, and then I don't know. It was messed up. It don't really hurt now that much.
I'll tell you who's behind it.
Who?
The Bohemian Club.
The Clinton Foundation.
The the Bohemian Club in Bohemian Grove, man.
What? Hey,
the only thing you're gonna be able to do is make a sacrifice to Moloch at this point.
dude, I've looked a little bit into that, like the robes and the rituals and all that crazy shit. It's deep.
Here's what I found out. I don't want to take too much time on this on my deep. If y'all don't know anything about the Bohemian Club and Bohemian Grove, Alex Jones did a documentary. I mean, look it up. But I started doing some research on it. I mean, it was old school Alex Jones back before he was discredited and stuff and became crazy.
Became crazy? You don't think he's been crazy all along? I kind of do. I don't know.
MK Ultra, I think no. I think if you can discredit the source, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I stumbled upon an article that didn't fit my narrative, and you know what my first knee-jerk reaction was?
This is lies.
Fuck this! I gotta find something else.
Yeah. Throw it away. It's trash.
Basically, saying that it was like, first let me say that I don't think that these powerful socialites getting together for 2 weeks and back scratching and all that is a good thing. I'm not taking up for it. But are they sacrificing children to Moloch? No.
You don't think so?
That's what the article was saying.
Okay.
And I was like, oh well, that doesn't fit my narrative. Bye.
Wonder who got paid to write that article.
It was
Fox News.
No, it wasn't it wasn't like when you logged on, like it was like a blog spot. It was really big blog.
Oh, good God.
It was really big blog.
And,
it actually brought up a lot
stuff.
of good points, man.
That's the
Brought
deep
up a lot of
stuff.
good points.
Blogspot articles. That's the independent. That's the truly independent boys out here doing God's work. For sure.
Let me tell you something that this podcast is doing to my brain. I've debated switching my major to journalism. I've debated going into journalism. That's how passionate I am about this shit.
Well, I've wanted. I don't know, man.
I don't think I'm going to, just because my want to help addicts and stuff. I feel is greater.
Right.
And also, not gonna lie, it's also safer as far as a career move goes.
I think so. That's like a big thing to me, seriously. Because I would want to dig deep, and
oh, absolutely. I mean, most your social work jobs. I mean, I'm not gonna be doing regular social work jobs. I'll be doing, hopefully, in the private sector of some sort, and drug rehab or something like that.
yeah.
But I mean, the more government overreach happening, which is going to continue happening, the more chances I have of having a stable job.
Oh, that's true. A lot of people don't. I feel like a lot of people don't even think of that politics really has a big part in
Absolutely,
everything.
every career there
Yeah,
is politics. Politics affects every facet of life. That's why I don't understand. I don't want to say I don't understand. That's why I don't agree with people who are like, oh, I don't get into politics. I'm like,
yeah,
well, you may not want to think about it, but it affects you.
yeah. And our kids, man. That's the push for me. I've always been one to talk about politics, but man, knowing how it affects me now, growing up, like as an adult, and then like thinking about my kids, it's gonna be pretty rough. I feel like maybe I don't know. Hopefully not, of course, but it's pretty rough. It's a pretty rough future ahead if we don't get. It's not really get rid of the bipartisan crap, but if we don't look elsewhere, like as an option at least, because we don't even do that. I don't feel like a lot of people do that now. Sucks.
But I look at the I mean, look at Great Britain. I mean, they have different but similar government,
Yeah.
and they're still looks like they're pretty much caught in two-party system as well.
At least a weird exiting maneuver, like a weird secession thing. But I don't know that that's. We don't need anything like that. That'd be wild. We just need.
You talking about Brexit?
Yeah. I feel like that's like
That's
obviously.
that's Britain's or that's England's
The
secession from the
the
European
union.
Union,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So like, I don't know. I feel like that's still a bipartisan thing, but
Oh, absolutely.
it's an earthquake in this political sphere over there. I know a lot. It's exposing a lot of people for their more extreme like opinions, politician wise, I guess.
Well, and just what I see on Facebook, um, looks like people don't like Trump. People who feel the way they feel about Trump feel the exact same way about Boris.
Right. Yeah.
Like he's their Trump.
Yeah. They literally say that, and I know people that criticize him being in power. Like I see liberal-ish types criticizing Trump over here, and it's kind of wild. It's kind of a weird
Yeah.
dynamic. It's kind of funny. It's pretty interesting. Pretty interesting to see. I have one friend that's from over there, and she's pretty versed in politics and stuff, and she she does not care to drop me an opinion, and I like seeing like a different point of view on politics over there, because politics over there, that's crazy stuff. It's like deep.
Talking about politics in foreign countries, so I play Smite with some guys from Canada, and they'll tell you, for me, regardless of where I sit on a political person or American politics, like let someone who's not American criticize my government.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
well, what the fuck do you know about anything at all?
yeah.
Yeah, man, dude. They're like, well, your Trump's a dumbass. I said, I'm not even going to engage with you right now.
Like I thought Canadians were supposed to be peaceful. Tell them to.
Oh, this guy's the biggest troll I ever met.
It's probably doing it just to wiggle the feathers, rustle the jimmies.
So, since last week, bombshell dropped on United States of America.
Oh God, have mercy.
Kanye 2020.
Yikes. Or not. Maybe. Who knows?
Kanye 2020.
Have you seen? Hey, listen. Also, just before, there's a Forbes article that was released last night. Have you seen that?
No, all the research I have, and I did, I'm pretty proud of myself. Me and you kind of discussed it. I did my research on this one. I've gotten some feedback from some people, and they're like, you're called fighting ignorance. Bring some facts to the table. Which I feel like we did a pretty good job of.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? And quit being lazy and quit just showing up on Wednesday. I brought some talking points. I brought some facts. Did a little bit of deep dive on Kanye.
All he did last night, or really, no, I don't guess it was last night. I think it was a little bit. Like they said, they've been talking on the phone with him for a week or two. I've got some like bullet points to throw that we could probably break down that you may have already. So you can, of course,
Everything I have is as of Monday morning at like 3 a.m.
All right, well let's hear it because I'm ready to. This is wild.
All right, well, 4th of July, so that was a Saturday, right?
Yeah.
All right,
Same.
Kanye tweeted, that's where a lot of this news comes from. Welcome to current affairs in America.
Yeah.
Tweeted out on the 4th of July he would be running for president. Now, this took out a lot of people, um, took a lot of people by surprise, but shouldn't have. So this is the tweet. We must now realize the promise of America by trusting God, unifying our vision, and building our future. I am running for president of the United States. Exclamation point. I think there was an American flag thrown in there. Hashtag 2020 vision. Okay. So did he come out and say, I am running for president in the year of our Lord 2020? No, but the hashtag 2020 vision leads us to believe he will be running for president in 2020. Not so far fetched that he would be running for president. First, let me say my original skepticism after looking at it comes from the fact that he just teased a new song the day prior and announced an album titled God's Country. So is this just promotion for his album and song? Could be. Timing's that's what timing shows me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know a few of his past albums that he's ended up dropping. I think even this most recent one that he's had. It seems like he'll be saying he's going to release it on a Friday, and then somebody else will release something that ends up being decently bigger on another platform the same week. So that's very viable, even just because of that. It's literally happened. I think the one single that he had that was recent, and then the last album.
The Jesus Walks.
Yeah.
Is that it?
I don't.
Which is the first big, to my knowledge, big single he's had in a while.
I'll look up the name. I don't remember.
Just me not being an avid Kanye listener, that's the first time Kanye really, as far as music goes, hit my radar in a long time. Like, I haven't even listened to the song, but I heard about it. You could not hear about Jesus Walks.
Jesus is King. So, that album came out like during the same week, like I think 6ix9ine came back, so that kind of got like dimmed a little bit. I don't
know. You know, not to get off topic, I thought that guy would be blackballed by the industry.
Who, 6ix9ine?
Yeah.
He kind of has. Billboard kind of took a shit on him. Like, I think
I was extremely surprised to see what's her name?
Nicki Minaj.
Nicki Minaj.
Oh God!
Do one with him.
No, Nicki Minaj. You're talking about God, I can't even remember her name.
That was Nicki, right? She just did that song.
Yeah, well, that's the one, but that's not the Okar. That's not her.
That's her.
No, it's not.
Oh no, it's not. No, it's not. I'm thinking about.
Oh my God! What's her
name? So it was Minaj that did the song with her.
Yeah, no, Minaj just did.
Not Cardi B. It wasn't Cardi B.
No, yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I thought it was Cardi B. Oh, that's why, because Nicki Minaj hasn't been relevant in fucking 5 years. That's why.
But she did just do that song with him, and that was huge. That's like been a huge song. That came out. I don't know what to do with.
Gamer Girl came out with a fucking, I'm back, hit me up on OnlyFans, and she sampled that song. She did a parody of it pretty much.
Oh God, I guess so. I didn't even really think about that. She's despicable. That's rough. She's rough.
Hey, business mind. I tip my hat off to her. Regardless of how you feel morally about her or whatever, the girl literally sold a bunch of Sims for bathwater.
That's rough.
I can't. If I could, I would. People were going to pay $30 a jar, and we're talking about like one, like baby food jars.
I don't. I mean, I don't mind it, but I'm not going to sit here and say that I think it's like. It's just yikes.
Anyway, so Kanye, I'm running for president. He actually talked about running for president before in an acceptance speech back in 2015. Um, and in 2015, he talked about running in 2020. Okay, and then January 1st, 2019, he tweeted the words out, just nothing else, just 2024. No context, leading a lot of people to believe, oh, okay, well, he'll be running in 2024 then.
Yeah.
Which I would assume, given the media attention to his support of Donald Trump, he would never even talk about going against him in an election. Which is why I figured he said, oh, okay, well, 2024 and 2019. So
Right.
let me. Now he's saying 2020 vision.
Mm-hmm.
CNN jumped all over this. Okay. CNN, of course, in my opinion, just trying to further divide people, is saying, oh, well Kanye is running against Trump because of Black Lives Matter and they don't see eye to eye on this. And the only thing they cited because of that, nothing Kanye said. The only thing that they've said to give any kind of basis to that is the fact that Kanye has donated $2 million to the families of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd. I don't know if that was $2 million to each or amongst the three of them. But they said Kanye's support for President Trump over his presidency, but claims that they have diverged over Black Lives Matter, only citing a donation to those three families.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's horrible. That's the state of our journalistic integrity in America.
That's awful. That's a whole misalignment of his entire platform, and it may not be, but it definitely is with the evidence they have.
That's the thing about his platform is he doesn't have one.
Right.
Okay, so anybody who takes Kanye running in 2020 seriously is misinformed or kidding themselves. Here's the thing. You want to talk about a vote for Joe Jorgensen, a throwaway vote? A vote for Kanye is the throwaway vote this year. This is my take on it. Okay. Amy McGrath just won the Democratic nominee. Okay. A lot of people thought she was going to lose to, what's his name? Booker. Okay. Why did she win? Well, because this isn't her first rodeo. This isn't her first primary. Her name's been in the mind, She ran 2 years ago. Okay, if Kanye gets on the ticket in at least a couple states as an independent, or if Kanye is just in the media, run for president, by 2024, it's not going to be such big news. He's not going to be. He'll be more relevant than if he were to come out in 2022, 2023 and say, yeah, I'm running for president and be one of the nominees or be bidding for a nomination.
Mm-hmm.
So if he is planning on running in 2024, like his 2019 tweet, this was actually sort of a smart move because he's going to be in people's minds. But as far as him actually running in 2020, I didn't know this. You need 3 specific things to be able to be on the ticket. You have to register with an election committee. So I don't know what all that entails. As of Monday morning at 3 a.m., he hadn't done any of that. He hasn't presented any actual campaign platform. I don't know if that's actually necessary, but it's kind of one of those things you just need to do. Necessary as far as getting on the ballot. And he hasn't turned in needed signatures. And this is where I was thoroughly surprised. How many signatures would one need to run for president, would you think?
Oh, God. I don't know. A lot.
I would.
100,000?
A million?
Yeah. like
A
zeros.
measly 10,000 signatures are all that's needed for a
That's
statewide race.
what the hell. That's
400 from each congressional district. At least, so 10,000 total to include 400 from each congressional district. Dude, I think I could
wow.
go. I think I could go if I had the money for the gas and the time. I think I could go to each congressional district and convince 400
400
people from each to, hey, I'm going to run for president.
to sign something? Sure.
Just to sign and say, hey, you got my support.
Wow.
I didn't get 10,000 signatures.
That's insane. That's
That's
crazy.
it. Yeah.
But he doesn't have those because he's not, you know, like
If he does, he hasn't turned them in. Now, will Kanye have any trouble getting those signatures?
oh no.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Like if America what really was, and I'm not saying to get into this, but we can. It doesn't matter. But if America was a popular vote, you know, place, boy, oh boy, we might be screwed. Maybe we might be if it were to be like that.
Oh God, I like to believe that we aren't so. Now, this isn't to say, he has cited his platform. This is what he calls his platform. He hasn't released anything specific as this is where I stand on this, this is where I stand on that. Maybe you can go ahead and find out his opinion on certain issues.
Hey, now
But
on this,
as of right now, the only thing he's stated is that his platform
there's
is a Trump campaign with a little Bernie mixed in.
there's a this Forbes article. They've kind of laid it out. That this happened last night, dude. I think this was released last night at like I don't
So
know.
someone's
It was early in the morning.
hit me with them facts, boy.
All right, so these are just the bullet points on the article that they basically pulled out of an interview with Kanye. I did listen to the article, like listen to it, so just to verify that these were right. And we'll
When was this interview? When did it take place?
I don't know. It's very 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 recent. This is like a developing story that popped up on Forbes last night, and it was all of this information is pulled from a phone interview about him running for president. So it's like a
Okay, so this
yeah.
this is a relevant issue or
Yes. Yeah.
interview, not a. Well, here's an interview from back in 2016, and we've extrapolated data.
Right.
Okay.
Says the interview was like a couple hours, something like that. I'm trying to just get information on the interview. Okay. All right. So we'll just go down the bullet. If you want to discuss them, that'd be fine. These are things that, and I haven't even read them yet. I've tried to like not pay attention so we can kind of hit them at the same time because they're kind of wild. Yeah, it's fresh. Okay. Kanye's
So
4th
fresh.
of July declaration via tweet that he was running for president lit the internet on fire, even as pundits were trying to discern how serious he was. Over the course of 4 rambling hours of interviews on Tuesday, the billionaire rapper turned sneaker mogul revealed. Bullet point number 1. That he's running for president in 2020 under a new banner. The birthday party. What did I just read? With guidance.
Did you say the birthday party?
Yes.
Is that real? Or is that just what he's calling his party?
It says a new banner, so maybe it's something he's made up, like a new thing. With guidance from Elon Musk and an obscure vice presidential candidate he's already chosen. Quote.
Let me pause right there real quick. It says guidance from Elon Musk. Now I do know that Elon tweeted out. He retweeted Kanye's tweet and said,
"You have my full
You've
support."
got my support.
Yep, I have that tweet pulled up right now on the screen.
Are they extrapolating and saying, "Hey, here's Elon saying you got my support," and then saying he's guiding him, or is there more to it? I wonder. Is he actually helping him?
I'm not sure. I almost feel like though with the way Elon is that he would probably say if anything in the Forbes article is false. He's done that before a lot, so I don't know. I mean, Elon said with his fingers, "You have my full support." So I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know. And on July 1st, Elon was over. Elon was They were together. I don't know if he was at he was at Kanye's house or what, but Kanye posted a picture with him on July 1st. So obviously they've been chatting.
Oh, okay, so this wasn't Elon just seeing a random tweet and going, "Hell yeah, brother."
I guess not.
It doesn't sound that way.
Yeah, he referred to him as friends in the picture that he posted on Kanye's Twitter.
Okay.
So there's that. And a quote from Kanye. Like anything I've ever done in my life, says West, I'm doing to win. So there's that. Jeez. All right.
You know, no one ever thought Donald Trump had a chance at winning.
I know, man. Hey, and I'm gonna tell you what, dude. Twitter culture is fucking crazy. If there's ever been anybody that I've thought would just pop up, it would have been Kanye before Trump. Just because of his Twitter following, and even in 2016, he had the same, if not worse.
Does he have an abnormal amount of Twitter followers?
Kanye, I don't know how to put this because I'm going off of things that I'm consistently told over a long period of time by one of my friends that's involved in this part of Twitter. But dude, apparently they're sharks, and they're just like ready to dive on whatever. He said that the Kanye Twitter is like exploring, things that may end up being in his platform, and they're like, people are already volunteering to campaign, all this crazy shit. Millions of people. Millions. Does that scare you? It kind of freaks me out, dude.
Elon Musk campaign manager?
I know. I don't think that's... With guidance from Elon Musk and an obscure vice presidential candidate. I've heard the vice president candidate. I don't know the person's name, but and I don't know much about him either. All right, next bullet point. This is a banger. That he no longer supports President Trump. Quote, I'm taking the red hat off with this interview. Unquote. Damn.
Okay.
Hey, do you want the link to this article? Let me throw it to you.
Later, I'm gonna let you run the reins on that one, bro.
All right. Okay. Third bullet point, that he's okay with siphoning off black votes from the Democratic nominee, thus helping Trump. I'm not denying it. I just told you to say that the quote from Kanye. I'm not denying it. I just told you to say that the black vote is Democratic is a form of racism and white supremacy. End quote.
Say that again.
Quote, I'm not denying it. I just told you. To say that the black vote is Democratic is a form of racism and white supremacy. End quote. That's a wild take, dude. This is. I mean,
I feel like that's.
Oh, I mean,
I feel like he's kind of on point with that because it is a.
I'm saying if Biden said that.
If you think that all black people vote Democrat, I don't know. To go as far and say that's white supremacy is just silly. But to say that's racist, I mean, that's definitely stereotypical.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess he did just kind of contradict himself a little bit. But man, if Biden said something like that, he'd be canceled. He'd be done.
Oh no! Because he said if he did say if you don't vote for me, you're not even black.
Yeah, true. And that's pretty.
I'll tell you what. Say what you want about Biden. It takes balls of steel to get on a show after saying that with Charlemagne the God. That dude eats white people for breakfast.
Yeah, he just. I think Biden just wanted to be hit. Hop in some pop culture for a minute so we can all make fun of him. I don't know why he would do it.
It shows fearlessness. I'll tell you that.
I guess so. He may not even be meaning to do it that way. You think? He probably just does.
That definitely wasn't his idea. I don't think it was his campaign manager.
Right.
Hey, we're gonna gamble.
We're gonna go with the kids over here. Okay. Here's next bullet point. Kanye has never. He said that he has never voted in his life.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I like that honesty.
I like the honesty. I feel like it's a weird thing to be. I wish I could have gotten like a quote or something as to why. I don't know, because that's kind of iffy.
There's nothing else. No more data on that.
No,
Kanye's never voted before.
It's odd that that would be a bullet point just like that, because that's a pretty heavy thing. But yeah, it's just that bullet point.
See, I feel like something like that. If I was a journalist writing that article, like that needs more data.
Yeah. Hey, but listen,
Because
if you ever watched an interview with Kanye West, you ain't asking him nothing he don't want you to know. Like he's gonna control the interview. He's crazy.
oh yeah, no, he's just talking. There's no questions.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's literally what happened. The reporter probably just sat there and just listened and wrote like a madman. Probably.
When he went into TMZ,
Oh gosh, that was crazy. That was that was a wild
that
thing.
that popped up on my my Grove deep dive.
Oh what? How so?
Well, what you want to know?
Yeah, I seriously do.
So, of course, it's all about the Hollywood elites, and
Right.
there's adrenochrome, or pedophilia is the main thing, and
Right.
those who don't get with the Hollywood elites, either whatever their end goal is or whatever, they cite Dave Chappelle and they cited Kanye as
Yeah.
for whenever you just don't go along with whatever they got going on, they drug you, they make you go crazy, they make you look crazy. Who was the other one? Martin Lawrence. Remember when he had his mental break?
Yeah.
So so basically, Kanye was like, the idea is that he went against or didn't take the red pill or blue pill, and then they were like, well, we got to lock you up in the sane asylum. There was a lot of references to MK Ultra, and they befuddle your brain, man. He's like, I went from taking 2 pills to taking 7.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he said it was the scariest moment of his life, scariest time of his life. He was put in um, I hate to use the word insane asylum. I don't know what the PC word is these days. Mental health facility of some sort. Uh,
Extreme mental health is like a.
Given a bunch of pills and stuff, and the hardcore conspiracy theorists say everything since then is no longer Kanye. It's the MK Ultra version of Kanye.
Oh my gosh! Wow. Wow. I mean, he definitely did change around when he actually, and he told people that he quit taking his meds. I've heard a lot of people mention the time around then and before. I don't know.
Look at Kanye back when he first came out and stuff, dude. I mean, he was real serious.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and listeners, I don't want you to think that I take all that stuff as fact, but there's a lot of when you start deep diving into MK Ultra, the Hollywood elite, like the massive. I'll tell you where it started. It started with me looking at all those people on Epstein's flight logs.
Oh God, the Black Book or flight logs.
Crazy,
Period.
crazy,
I haven't looked at the flight logs. I don't think I've looked at that Black Book though.
crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty wild shit. It's pretty weird. Not many reasons why you'd be on that, other than maybe him wanting to speak to you and you not answering. That doesn't make much sense though. I don't really feel like that's how that works. And then him write you down in his little black book. Okay, next bullet point. Ready?
Ready?
Okay, I can see you like drifting off into fucking. It's rough.
I don't want to get on it, man. I was like, man, I don't hope I don't end up talking about fucking all this crazy shit.
Oh God.
No one is ever gonna take a thing I say serious again.
Okay, bullet point, next one, that he was sick with COVID-19 in February. I feel like the reporter probably heard him say what I say. I feel like I was sick with it in the week of Christmas, so I feel like they just, that's not confirmed. I don't know what the fuck that has to do with anything. It has to do with his presidential run, but there's that.
Well, maybe they're thinking, his take on COVID is going to be different than Trump's because he's had it.
That here's the next bullet point. Get ready for this one. That he's suspicious of a coronavirus vaccine, terming vaccines, quote, the mark of the beast, end quote.
I'll tell you what else come up on my deep dive.
Oh fuck! What
No.
Bill Gates and all that shit?
Of course. This is what the conspiracy theorists are saying. How come I can spit into a tube and you can tell me every single thing about my DNA, but you have to go all the way back to my blood-brain barrier to test for COVID. So the hardcore extremists are saying implants. They're implanting something. When they do a COVID test, they're implanting something.
Oh my god.
And then you got others who are saying they're breaking the blood brain barrier to make you more susceptible to MK Ultra.
Sweet Lord Almighty, dude. Look, I'm gonna tell you now, okay? Since we're touching on conspiracy theories, I just gotta let you know my take on, and it's not like I'm dismissing all of them because definitely they're interesting, okay?
I definitely don't believe either of those two things, but it does make me go, hey, I would like to talk to someone and find out why it does have to go all the way back to the blood
right,
brain
yeah,
barrier.
for sure. And I know that you're like this. Those outlandish things bring up questions that aren't so outlandish. They make it makes you, you take your level head and then you go look at something that's with crazy stuff up here, and you can kind of make a bridge between some things. As far as like the following and the tracking and the this and the that and all that stuff, man, I know this is cliche and it's boomer-esque. Exactly. I've got my like, dude, and we're on the internet. We're under right now. We're under like 7 different EULAs. People are listening.
I can't deny it.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no reason to put a tracker in me.
Right.
I mean, you go look at the few people who do live off grid, like they find them no problem.
Right. You can all. It's. I mean, how do you think Google Earth came about, man? Because people we got satellites that can take pictures of flies on shit in your backyard, man.
Yeah.
Like
there's no
getting
around it.
Yeah, the whole survey, and I'm not dismissing what you're saying, and what you said is a good thing too, and something I hadn't even thought about. Like, why would they even want? They're not gonna. They've already got you if they want you already, like for sure. So I feel like maybe some of the population control. I feel like that stuff is a little more viable, maybe than
it is a fact that we cannot continue on our current
path.
Growth.
Period. Yeah,
we can't. There's just not enough resources on Earth.
And
that's fact.
And anybody that's smart and that's money is so astronomical that like they just see money. Their bank account is just their numbers. Like kind of like Trump. It's kind of like Trump. He doesn't. I don't think that. I think Trump has like. If Trump has any empathy or anything like that, that's cool. But I know that he sees people as just numbers. That's just what he does. I had 50,000 here at this place that held, 60,000. I did awesome. Like that's what he tweets on. And
that's the scary thing about the rulers of the world, so to speak. I use that term just because those in power, however you want to say it. So. In the exposed Bohemian Grove, the thing that came out of it, every year they hold this festival or this mock play or whatever, and the idea behind it is get rid of our consciences. Like they're battling, what was the word? Dull care. That's it. Cremation of care, dull care. Some people say, so the conspiracy theorists go, they spend all year, controlling the world and doing these horrible things, and this is their, the thing they do once a year to keep that at bay, so they don't have to think about morals and stuff like that. And then the article I read on Blogspot, who was like, y'all are crazy. They're not praying to Moloch. He was like, they're just saying, hey, for 1 weekend, for 1 week, I still want to think about the affairs of the world.
So they go and sacrifice kids. Is that kind of the gist?
Well, and the argument is, this is the Bohemian Club, which is, this is a bunch of actors and poets and stuff. So everything's gonna be shrouded in
like wordplay and
stuff, and just like these over the top productions and stuff like that. Right. I'm not talking about Bohemian Grove any more tonight.
Oh God. I mean,
but that's the scary point, is because when you think about these Hollywood elites and stuff and their morals, and you realize they're getting together once a year and going, man, sure does suck caring
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to do that no more.
Right. But it definitely signals that Kanye is open into the conspiracies because he's quoted saying that and applying it to his presidential campaign, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what to call it. Next bullet point. This is a voter point. This is a relevant something that we can like look at and analyze. That he believes, quote, Planned Parenthoods have been placed inside cities by white supremacists to do the devil's work, end quote. I just saw Planned Parenthood, so I assumed that it would be relevant, and it still is, but it's still kind of just not really finite on a position or something.
All right, so here's the conspiracy theorist's take.
Jesus Christ.
So the conspiracy theorists think Planned Parenthood exists to kill our babies.
I don't
A
think.
lot of people believe that it is a white supremacist thing because they look at the African American population and they you look at the disproportionate amount of abortions by race and they think it's population control trying to wipe out the African Americans. Um, that's the take. The fact of the matter is, and I am with this being said, I'm personally not necessarily for abortion in most cases, but I am pro-choice politically. Okay, I don't agree with abortion in most cases, but not my body, not my choice. That's how I view it.
Same, same.
All right. I think that's that. I feel like that's where most common sense people sit. I know a lot of people who are like, I understand, being
I'll be right back. Keep
anti-abortion. I
going.
understand it. Anyway, um, I got far off. I forgot. Oh yeah, so Planned Parenthood, like that is such a small percentage of the things they do. I found out. Like when you look at abortions and everything else Planned Parenthood does, like Planned Parenthood, they do so much more than just abortions. They do birth control. They do pap smears. They do, uh, I mean, just health advice. I mean, it's almost like another health. What's the word? Health department. I mean, they do a lot of stuff. Quick Google search. What does Planned Parenthood do? Central health care services Planned Parenthood provides like STD testing and treatment, birth control, well woman exams, cancer screenings and prevention, abortion, hormone therapy, infertility services, and general health care. That's from Planned Parenthood's website. You can go look at PlannedParenthood.org. Um, CNN has an article, Planned Parenthood, the facts, by the numbers. See if I can get it has 650 affiliate health centers across the nation. Okay, including standalone clinics and satellite offices.
Had an
The
emergency.
services offered at different centers vary. It estimates that 2.5 million women and men in the U.S. visit its affiliate health centers for services and information each year, and its website receives 60 million visits annually. Of its patients, 83% were 20 or older. Uh, what services does Planned Parenthood offer? Okay, they performed in 2014 323,999 abortions, which accounts for 3% of the services they provide. So Planned Parenthood does do abortions, but it's 3% of the services Planned Parenthood
What is that
provides.
scale? 3% of the services. What's that mean?
So I don't know how they scale that, but this is what they say. Uh, so here's their numbers. This is a CNN article, CNN Health. Sexual education. I think they take the amount of people that they do services for. This is what it looks like. Add them all together, find out what percent of those was abortions.
Wow.
Plant provides sex education to 1.5 million young people and adults each year. So that can be kind of vague. You know what I mean? Like,
That's a very
you
odd
could
statistic.
say we have sexual education information on our website. This is how many people viewed our website. Therefore, we have
Right.
performed sexual education on those people who viewed our website. You could say that.
It's so
You could
weird.
say that.
3%
But
is such a
I
weird
don't think
thing.
they're doing that because they get 60 million visits annually, and they're only claiming 1.5 million sexual educations. Pregnancy prevention and birth control prevents an estimated 579,000 unintended pregnancies per year. I don't know how you can. That's an odd one. Like,
Yeah, hey, you're
we,
you've hit 2 points that are odd, and then now we're like I've used the 3% of Planned Parenthood as abortions. I've heard that a million times.
contraception accounted for 34% of the services provided, according to the 2015 GAO report.
It's such a weird way to.
Yeah, like we handed out a shit ton of condoms.
Yeah, like.
uh, 2014 Planned Parenthood saw 2 million reversible contraception patients. What the fuck is a reversible contraception patient? I don't know what that means.
Me either.
Hold that thought. 941,589 emergency contraception kits. That'd be like Plan B, right?
Yeah, I would assume.
3,445 vasectomies. See, that's cool. I didn't know they did that.
Yeah.
And apparently, there's no cost to the
I mean, hey, how many vasectomies? Say it one more time.
3,445. Very low numbers, but you
Yeah.
know,
If 323,000 is 3%, then what's that? That's not even that's point
of
zero.
what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, man.
718 female sterilization procedures.
God, that's
That
low. That's low.
1.1 million pregnancy tests.
Okay. And I feel like that's very good. That's probably, something that's not like crazy.
I feel like you could do that in the state. I would like to compare this to the health department and see what the health department does versus Planned Parenthood.
Right. Agree. That'd be a really good thing to look at cuz these numbers are wacko. 3,000.
Prenatal care provided 17,419 people in 2014. Now, is that
What?
1 month's? Is that 1 month supply? Is that
If it
across the entire pregnancy?
if that
Is
is
that
regardless, that's low too. That don't even make any sense.
sexually transmitted disease screening and treatment? Planned Parenthood says this accounts for 42% of their provided services provided. Okay. The GAO calculates 41% in 2012 by affiliates. 4.2 million tests and treatments provided in 2014. This represents the largest proportion of medical services provided. So they've got a book. They've got the headline, and then they say, "Hey, this provides 42% of our services." Then they have a bullet point saying how many. It's 4.2 million. Then a third bullet saying that's our largest. Just saying it again,
Oh my
just in case you missed it
god.
the first time.
That's so weird. Those numbers are all. I've heard a lot of those numbers used, and I'm not shitting on Planned Parenthood either because I think that services like that are vital to functioning societies. But
Well, going into this article, I thought I was going to find, um, evidence to back up the claim that they don't do, the abortions make up a very small percentage of things they do.
right.
Um, I'm seeing that, but not in as good of a light. It looks like
God
it's been a
no.
little skewed.
Hey man, and
It looks like it's been
I've
skewed.
heard 3% spouted like it's like free money. I don't know how to say it.
270,000 pap smears per year. Cervical cancer screenings, for those who don't know what that is.
Hmm.
And 360,000 breast exams per year. Now, what I would like to
Hey,
see.
well, guess what? Listen, real quick. I have to say this since it's right here. 360,000 breast exams. That's a little bit. That's like a little bit more than 3%. That's not very much.
That's all right.
That's not
That's
very many.
that's
200.
about 40,000 more. That's about 40, a little less than 40,000 more breast screenings they did than
Right.
abortions.
And then 270,000 pap smears. That's less than 3%. That's not good. That's like not.
Yeah, I would think that you would see more of both of those
Yep.
in a great number than you did abortions. If
Agree.
abortions make up 3%, you know what I mean? Like, man, that's only 3% of the services we provided. In
Three.
my head, what that number says is, dude, like it's a drop in the bucket. Like
Right.
everything we do in leaps and bounds more than we do abortions.
And then what's odd to me is that there's 4.2. You just give this big giant astronomical number for something that is weird on a scale compared to abortions, because there's not, there's no scale of what's more detrimental to society. I'm not saying that abortions are, because you mentioned your stance and mine is the same, but like we can't. I see now how invalid it is to say, well, Planned Parenthood only does 3% of abortions, because they also only do about 3% pap smears. That's kind of whack. Like if you want to get involved in, well, they don't do they don't do very much of this. Well, they also have done like 718 hysterectomies. That's whack. That's crazy. Like why isn't, I don't know. That's crazy. I've never even looked at these stats. It's kind of mind blowing.
Research. Planned Parenthood said in its 2014 annual report that it participated in more than 70 research projects.
Okay.
According to the Gut Masher Institute, I could say that wrong, publicly funded family planning in 2014 helped women avoid 2 million unattended pregnancies. It found that 62% of Planned Parenthood health centers also offered same-day appointments, and 78% offer extended evening or weekend hours for those who have a hard time accessing care due to work or family responsibility. Planned Parenthood is also more likely to facilitate the choice and uptake of a contraceptive method, as well as help a high volume of patients who need contraceptive care. I will say this is anecdotal. Going to the health department these days, you better have an appointment.
Yeah.
Or you better show up before they open.
Yeah, because it's packed.
They're just so overwhelmed.
And that's why things like Planned Parenthood are important.
Yeah.
Because they catch that offset. But man, we can't. Like, yeah, I'd definitely like to look at health departments' stats compared to these. It's very, very interesting. That's such a weird thing.
According to a 2016 survey, 26% of patients at a Planned Parenthood site said it was the only place they could go for services that they required.
Wow. I wonder if that's lack of knowing or overflowed.
Well, that's a loaded thing, because what services?
Right.
Because if they interviewed everyone who wanted an abortion and said, well, this is the only place I can go. Well, yeah. Pap smears. All this other stuff, like, I don't know. So, you knew my opinion before the article. My opinion after the article: Planned Parenthood still good. Maybe not as much of. They definitely I feel like they downplay the amount of abortions they do.
Definitely.
Here's my take on that. If abortions are not a bad thing, you decide if they are or not. If they are not a bad thing, why do I need to say, well, hey, look, I don't even do that many abortions? If they're a good thing, wouldn't you be like, look at the amount of abortions we do? Hell yes.
Right. Agreed. Because abortion is inherently bad. I think that everybody agrees that it's obviously a bad thing.
I don't think that everyone agrees on that.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying it's in like a morally bad. I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. It's a morally that people don't like to do it. A lot of people that I see say that.
No, I don't think there's anyone who gets up and goes, all right, cool, abortion day.
Right.
You know?
That's what I mean.
Like, the common misconception is that people are like, well, no need to take a pill, no need to wear a condom, I'll just get an abortion.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, would you rather brew a cup of coffee at your house, or would you rather have to drive down the street and buy a cup of coffee? Americans are lazy, dog.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
They'd much rather go take a Plan B the next day than end up going to have an abortion.
And
that's just
It's sad, but
My
that's the
take.
truth. It's just the truth. I mean, it's just how it is. Okay. Um, this is the final bullet point on this. And sorry I had to run. I had a little emergency.
Okay, so back to Kanye.
Yeah. This is the last bullet point from the interview. That he envisions a White House organizational model based on the secret country of Wakanda and Black Panther.
So a lot of people are going to find that laughable. But just read that one more time to me.
That Kanye envisions a White House organizational model based on the secret country of Wakanda and Black Panther. I don't know what organizational model means, but
Have you seen Black Panther?
no.
Okay, so two way of looking at this. He worded it weird because he said a White House organizational model. So in Black Panther, like they have this hierarchy. They have their trip. What's the word? They have their group of people who oversee Wakanda, and so they have a king whose word is final, but he has a shit ton of people in his ear guiding him.
Right.
Okay. So is he talking about? When he says he's talking about a White House organizational model, is he talking about the people he's going to keep around in the White House? Because the first place my mind went to is Wakanda is like takes their resources and gives back to the people.
I feel
the way
like
he worded it, I don't feel like that's what he's talking about.
I feel like he means more of in the White House with him, like cabinet wise. I feel like all we've got is that sentence.
That's just super fucking vague, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just kind of a weird. It's like a pipe dream, like a weird dreamy thing to say. I wish we could.
I mean, there's going to be people looking at that all sorts of different ways. Okay.
Did he just quote
You're going to have the
movie?
people who are going, he ain't going to want no white people in the White House.
Right. True.
You're going to have them. Okay.
There's
you have the people who just dismiss him completely because he quoted a Marvel movie.
There's a lot of things here too that I didn't actually see that were down here later, but it's like on his previous Trump for support, and then a quote from him on his MAGA hat moment, a quote on discussions on race with the White House. There's a quote there. There's quite a few quotes here too. Let me see, like an important one. On being a political novice. This is very important to me. This was a big, very, very high, highly anticipated point from people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez that I was like ready and waiting to hear. So here's what Kanye had to say about being a political novice. Quote, I have to say with all humanity that as a man, I don't have all the pieces in the puzzle. Unquote. That's all I needed to hear. I'm going to read the rest, but that whenever somebody says something like that and they're new to politics, I'm ready and willing to listen because you're going to be honest, I feel like. Okay, so, quote, as I speak to you for what a political campaign, a political walk, as I told you, because I'm not running, I'm walking. I'm not running. We the people are walking. We're not running anymore. We're not running. We're not excited. We're energized. Someone could say, hey, I got a brand new car for you. It's across the street. And you get so excited that you run across the street and get hit by a car trying to run to your new car. That's how they control the black community, through emotions. They get us excited. We're so excited, but then for 400 years, the change doesn't truly happen. Unquote. End quote. What? Like, the first sentence was all I needed to hear on that.
I feel like he came on strong, basically saying, hey, man, look, this is going to be a learning experience for me. I don't have all the answers. And then he kind of got out there in limbo.
Yeah.
And then he pulled it together with the very common, what I find to be common sense, conservative thinking as far as the African American vote goes.
That's pretty. That's pretty crazy.
What was I gonna say? So
here's a quote on the Wakanda management model, literally.
Okay. Yes, please, God.
Okay.
May I have a crumb of context?
Dude, I love that the other day when you posted that. I forgot what it was to me. Just something random. Okay, quote. A lot of Africans do not like the movie Black Panther and representation of themselves in Wakanda. But I'm going to use the framework of Wakanda right now because it's the best explanation of what our design group is going to feel like in the White House. That is a positive idea. You got Kanye West, one of the most powerful humans. I'm not saying the most because you got a lot of alien level superpowers, and it's only collectively that we can set it free. Let's get back to Wakanda. Like in the movie like in the movie in Wakanda when the king went to visit that lead scientist to have the shoe wrap around her shoes, just like the amount of innovation that can happen, the amount of innovation in medicine, like Big Pharma. We're going to work, innovate together. It's not going to be some Nipsey Hussle being murdered. They're doing a documentary. We have so many soldiers that die for our freedom of information, that there
What
is a.
the actual fuck?
Hey, this is Kanye shit, man. He's crazy. Uh, that there is a cure for your AIDS out there. There's going to be a mix of big pharma and holistic medicine.
So is he saying there's going to be what the hell does research and development have to do with your cabinet model?
Dude, I wonder if he's trying to relate it to like where Wakanda was more like natural, holistic. Some of the medicines they use. And
Well, I think where my brain goes is, are you saying that you're going to take away the privatization of all this? Are you saying more? Does that equal out to more governmental spending? And what the hell does that
Yeah.
have to do with the White House cabinet?
Yeah, I agree with the White House cabinet question. He mentions big pharma, which is a word that is used with a negative connotation to talk about the pharmaceutical industry. So I feel like even that's a little conspiracist and like a little a vectory. Like
I
it's
feel
like,
like he's all over the place.
oh
Man.
yeah,
It's hard for me to take him seriously. I want to take him seriously. It's hard for me to take him seriously.
on taxes. This is a short one. You want me to read that one? It's a
Yeah.
quote. I haven't done enough research on that yet. I will research with the strongest experts that serve God and come back with the best solution. And that will be my answer for anything I haven't researched. I have the earplug in, and I'm going to use that earplug.
I'm gonna tell you this right now, just by the way he talks. Uh, he's gonna have a real tough choice getting the average Democrat to vote for him.
You think
Just
so?
because he's so
Average.
just because
What age
God
do you
just got
speak
that.
of? Oh,
Huh?
okay. I mean that's what even Wesley, my friend, he's very very deep into Kanye. He says that from what he's read and things he's gathered, that he thinks it's going to be a very, like a very religious campaign.
That's the vibes I'm getting, man. It's the vibes I'm getting.
Yeah.
Which, hey, points to him. Let me say this about Kanye. Uh, he says it's all about winning, but it seems to me it's all about doing what he feels is right.
Right. And that's what I think he's been on when he's been on this quote crazy shit unquote. He's just been about him. I really think Kanye is a genius. I do.
Does that mean I'm gonna vote for him because I feel like, man, he's really following his heart?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't mean I'm gonna vote for him.
Right.
But my hat's off to him
Hmm.
for being himself all the time.
He said he's against the death penalty.
Where do you sit on capital punishment?
I'm going to tell you right now. It goes back to accountability, which we've spoken about plenty of times. Kind of like eye for an eye with a trial, with fullest extent of the law. But I don't not believe in it. I don't know.
Here's my take, and I feel like a lot of people sit here. I feel like there are certain crimes that are so heinous that there's no sense in. I mean, if I feel like if I'm going to lock you up for life without the chance of parole, we've deemed you unfit for society. Period. Why spend the extra tax dollars keeping you alive?
Because I'll tell you now,
That being said,
I don't want my tax dollars spent on that. So, and I would assume that a consensus would be that they don't too. So, with that being
yeah.
said, go ahead.
Well, I mean, because I feel like most people, or not most, a lot of people are like, jail should be about rehabilitation. If we are saying that there's no chance of rehabilitation, why waste resources?
Right.
Okay. It's like the indefinite timeout. With that being said, I never want to see an innocent person go to the gallows, so to speak.
For sure.
So
And that
with
happens a lot.
so with life in prison comes the chance for exoneration, as opposed to, well, all right, found guilty, you be dying soon.
I think that like, and I think this happens to a certain degree, to a point, especially by like the guy and his legal counsel. But once you get on death row, I think you
Oh,
should.
you're more likely to die of old age in jail because of the legal procedures.
Um, I just would like to. eh, I don't know that that's right, but I would.
Anecdotal, no evidence backing that up. Just saying that.
I'd like to like if you get death row and you know that it comes to that, like that may be the end goal of the punishment that you receive from breaking the law. I feel like you need like a escalated investigation or something, like almost
Well,
like another.
well, that's the thing is like there's so many appeals and there's so many
Right.
legal actions one can take. Like that's why I said that because like and I don't have the actual numbers on hand. Um, but I mean, here I mean average time it takes for someone after how long
Oh god.
after
Yeah, I bet it's
being
decades for sure. At
uh,
least.
put on death row till death. Okay. In 2010, a death row inmate waited an average of 178 months, roughly 15 years, between sentencing and execution. Nearly a quarter of inmates on death row in the U.S. die of natural causes while awaiting execution.
Nearly a
There were
quarter. Damn.
2,721 people on death row in the United States in 2018.
Shit. That's kind of wild.
That is from Wikipedia.
15 months.
Ru-
Usually?
Yeah.
Average.
No, 15 years.
Oh shit! I'm retarded. Yeah, 15 years.
15 years.
That's kind of wild. That's a long time. I have seen a lot of like the death row like documentaries, stuff like that, like killing people that have killed that are in there for life, maybe on death row. I've seen a
Let me
lot
tell
of-
you,
it's pretty
Stephen
rough.
King did not prepare me for those numbers. Green Mile said an hour after you get there, you're on death row. Or you died.
Yeah.
Things have changed. That was just a little ha-ha.
All right, now listen. I feel like we got another big elephant in the room, and it's something else that you've covered too. That you said that you had with your homework that you showed me. Biden.
Joe Biden.
All right, yes. So I guess you did pretty extensive research on Biden, kind of, and the.
Um, I read. So I have two main articles I read. So here's my thinking. Examining my thoughts, I'm just like anti Joe Biden. I don't know. The reason why, probably just watching his massive amount of gaffes.
Yeah.
For those that don't know what a gaffe is, it's pretty much usually taken out of context or something. Just when a political opponent just says something incredibly stupid or out of the reins or something like that. Like a real life blooper.
Yeah.
Then I got to thinking, that's the same thing anti-Trumpers do.
Yes. Yes. I've done the
same
same
thing.
though. I've done the same.
The big one that comes to mind is and the kids, they'd come and they'd rub the hair down on my legs and they'd watch it stick back up. Like, what the actual hell are you talking about, bro? Or the sucking on his wife's finger.
Yeah.
Dude's just out there.
I mean, hey, he might be one of those guys that I saw a video the other day. This dude like had his wife's foot in his mouth like while they were at a stoplight, and then some dude like recorded it. And he honked his horn. They looked and they were like, "Ugh." Maybe he's just.
I'll say this about the creepy Joe Biden. Giving off pedophile vibes. When that shit first came out, I'm like, man, it's the same shit they do to anybody who loves their child, takes a bath with their kid or whatever.
Right.
The more you see it, the creepier it gets. But I don't want to pay him to be a child molester. I think dude's just maybe he's just antisocial. Maybe
Hey,
he just really loves kids.
and
You
this,
know,
and I don't know. I feel like people, take pictures and get weird spots and things like that. We gotta
what's
take
those
that into
slow
account too.
down video clips where he's grabbing that little girl in the chest and she's jerking away,
Yeah.
that kind of
I
thing.
mean,
You know,
maybe she doesn't like to be like touched like that, and I'm not. I don't do that when I'm around people. I don't feel the need to like embrace them like that. He is a little older. Maybe it's a different time. I don't know, man.
I know whenever a little kid comes around me, like I just want to pick him up and like love on him.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I mean?
put like I'll touch my son's back and stuff, and I'm sure when my daughter comes, I'm sure if somebody were to want to sit around and take a bunch of pictures, it probably maybe some things.
Dude, I forget you're expecting all the time.
Hey, every time I say something about it, everybody's like, "Congrats!" Like I just figured it out or something. I don't know.
I feel like maybe it's because it's your second kid,
Dude,
and like the first kid, like it's a Facebook update every step of the way.
Right.
And
Yeah.
maybe the second kid just isn't
Hey,
like that.
and this will be on the podcast, but it's facts. It's not that I don't like talking about it because I'm ashamed, of course, but I'm scared, man, and it makes me feel very uneasy talk about it. I know that's weird, but dude, I'm just scared.
Dude, I've got an 8-month-old, and I couldn't imagine having another kid right now. First one was scary, but now after having one, I'm like,
The way that
knowing what a child entails. A
of
second?
right. Of course, my wife is heavily, heavily, heavily involved. She's the best mom I could ever ask for. We're getting so off topic, but when I held my son for the first time, it was like a camera spun around us. Like when I held him, it was like me and him, like I first bonded, like eyes locked. But
It's
I,
spiritual, dude. It's
but
wild.
I feel like when my daughter comes, the camera's not going to be spinning around just us. It's going to go way up and spin around the whole world. I don't know. That's the best way I can explain it. And I'm freaked out, dude. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it other than
Dude,
that.
I'm glad I didn't have a daughter. I'm glad I had a son.
Exactly. And now I'm having one. I feel like maybe it's for somewhat the same reasons. I think we've talked about that a little bit. But boy, I don't know. I'm freaking out.
Well, I mean, it's just like I'm a guy, you know.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know where I fucked up. I think I know what. Hey, I wish I had instilled in me. You know,
Yeah, right.
this with a girl. It's like, oh God, like
Whole different ball game, boys.
life is crazy for you people.
Oh yeah, whole different ball game. But coming back around, I feel like a lot of the stuff with him, the gaffes and all. Well, him fumbling over his words is kind of maybe his fault for the most part. But
Yeah. So with that aside, it was what's the big thing you hear about Joe Biden as far as his actual political platform? He's a hypocrite. 94 crime bill.
yeah,
All right. So I thought, well, let's examine, because I mean he goes all the time. I wrote the damn bill.
right, yeah,
I wrote the damn bill.
the damn bill, yeah. I heard him say that.
So if you go to Politico, I found this where after I said that I didn't vote, people told me how easy it was to find people's platforms. So I found his Joe Biden's views on, and you can we can expand these or as needed. Capital punishment, death penalty. He says abolish it. Okay. He says abolish it. That's what he says. Called for abolishing capital punishment altogether, say inmates sentenced to death should have their sentences commuted to life without parole. Cash bail reform. End it. Candidates who advocate ending the cash bail system argue it disproportionately hits low-income Americans. It's about cash bailouts. Are they talking about like company bailouts, like the car bailouts, the bank bailouts? Is that what they're talking about?
Cash bail reform.
Yeah. Are they?
Candidates who advocate ending the cash bail system argue it disproportionately hits low. Let's look it up.
What is cash bail reform?
Either you keep going on the list and I'll look it up, or vice versa. You see what I'm saying? So we're at least saying something the whole time.
TheBrennanCenter.org.
All right.
All right, how cash bailouts work. And it says the cash bail system is unfair to low income people and people of color, but there are all ways to fix it. The United States is one of the only countries in the world with a cash bail system that is dominated by commercial bail bondsmen. Oh, bail, jail bail,
Right.
bail.
Is that what they're talking?
Okay,
That period? That's weird that that's what they're
that's
talking
what they're
about.
talking about, like bail from jail. The system discriminates against people of color and the poor. Let me say this: in Kentucky, there is no bail bondsmen.
Right.
Okay, you have bail,
Why
you
is
have
that?
bond, but there are no bail bondsmen.
Is there a reason for that?
I don't know why
Like,
there aren't here in Kentucky.
guess
I
maybe
don't
our
know if they're
laws may not.
illegal or what. Some states and cities are making progress. Much work is needed to bring fairness to the corner of criminal justice system. Pretrial detainees make up more than 70% of pre-trial detainees make up more than 70% of the U.S. jail population. So
Oh
that's people
God.
you get arrested for a crime, you have not been convicted yet.
Sitting in
Um,
jail.
you're sitting in jail waiting on a grand jury or what have you. If it's a felony or grand jury, um, approximately 536,000 people. Many of them are there because they can't afford bail. What is cash bail? Cash bail is used as a guarantee that a defendant will return for a trial or hearings. So the things that go into, and this is just me because I've been part of the political justice system, they look at multiple things when they look at cash bail, when they look at bail. Um, what are you a flight risk is number one. So, if you have missed, if you've been no show to jail or to court before, you're less likely to have a bail, or the bail is liable to be higher. Um, and it's also based on the uh, crime itself. How high profile is this case? Um, is this a felony? Is it a misdemeanor? Um, the money is returned after they make a necessary court appearance, otherwise, the bail is forfeited to the government. In most places, a standard bail amount is set for any alleged offense, but judges typically have broad discretion to raise or lower it. The judge could also waive bail entirely and release the defendant on their own recognizances. They call R&R, release on recognizances with signature, which means that a person promises they will show up and promise to. So basically, like, give me a pinky promise. You can't afford to pay bail, you sit in jail. All right, that's it. What are the effects of waiting in jail for trial? Says defendants who don't have the funds. I'll tell you what. Before even seeing that, I'll tell you what it does. Is it makes you ready to jump at the first deal anyone sends you.
Yeah, probably.
Get me out of this motherfucker. Defendants who have the funds to pay bond premium are forced to wait trial in jail. Pre-trial detention has dramatically negative effects on the outcome of a defendant's case. Those who are held pre-trial are 4 times more likely to be sentenced to prison than defendants released prior to trial. Okay. Also, it's that whole thing. I'm not showing up in a suit next to my lawyer. I'm showing up in shackles and an orange jumpsuit.
True.
Pretrial detainees are also likely to make hurried decisions to plead guilty to a lower charge to spend less time behind bars, rather than chancing a higher charge and longer sentence at trial. In addition, the psychological trauma of unnecessary pretrial detention can be devastating. Uh, I'll get off this. Okay, so that's what the bail bond system is.
So
They say
they
it's
just
racist.
want to they just
say
want
it's
to
messed
end
up.
it. They just want to end it.
What now? I will say this with the Politico. These are not his words. These are just saying his view on. They're broad. It's broad. So on each one of these topics, you would need to dive in and say, okay, well, what exactly does he say about it? Because these are broad statements either for or against it.
But I
You're
mean,
making a broad brush.
like you can generally get on Politica though. Look at this stuff, and it's pretty, pretty accurate.
Yeah. I'm just if when it comes time to vote, if you're voting single issue. So
Big.
if I was voting
Yeah.
solely on the cash bail reform, I better be going to Joe Biden and finding exactly what he's saying about cash
Right.
bail.
Right. And you can click like it's up here where it is. You could click on like this. I don't really even know what it brings up.
Oh, you can click on the headline.
Yeah. Shows people that are that have similar views that are.
So he's for other people. He's for ending it. Other people are for reform or reduce it.
Yeah.
But he is for ending it. Okay.
Bam. Damn.
Does that mean everyone gets R&R?
I
See,
don't know.
that's what that kind of brings up to me. Is like, what does that even mean?
Yeah, that's kind of a loaded thing. All right. Minimum wage, because that's a big one. And
Well,
what?
let's hit that one, and I want to go back to the cocaine sentencing because that has a big thing to do with the crime bill.
Okay. Um, well, just go ahead then.
So
We'll scroll down.
this is a big point of argument against Joe because he's for scrapping the disparity for cocaine sentencing. What that means is crack cocaine is a much higher offense than cocaine, regular cocaine. People say that is a that's racist because you're more likely, if you're African American cocaine user, it's more likely to be crack cocaine. Okay. Um, he wrote the 1994 crime bill, which, so basically, rundown of it, you can go to factcheck.org, Biden on the 94 crime bill, and Biden. In the 1980s and 1990s, violent crime was out of control. The crime bill was designed to deal with that problem. That's why it was supported overwhelmingly by the Democratic Party, by African American leaders all across the nation, including the majority of black caucuses in Congress. The bill was aimed at reducing violent crime, which has been rising. Violent crime rate had been on a general trend upward in the decades leading up to the 94 crime bill, peaking in 1991. After dropping in the first part of the 80s, the violent crime rate, according to the FBI's Uniform Crime Reporting Statistics, increased 39% from 83 to 93, the year before the crime bill was passed. And it was supported by the Democratic Party. The Senate initially passed the bill by a 95 to 4 vote. The final conference report vote was 61 to 38, with just 2 Democrats voting no. The House passed the final bill 235 to 195, with nearly 3 times as many Democrats supporting it as opposing it.
Damn.
It's also true that the majority of the Congressional Black Caucus supported the legislation, though then President Bill Clinton had to meet with CBC to garner enough votes to get the bill over to the finish line. Nearly 40 African American religious leaders released a statement supporting the bill, saying, while we do not agree, let me back up real quick, real hard, I don't want to get too off. I always, whenever I hear the word African American leaders or leaders in the African American community, I always scratch my head and go like, are these elected people? Or like who decides who an African American leader is?
Yeah, I've wondered who it was.
Because you hear that all the time right now. We're talking with the leaders of the African American community. Well,
I'm looking at the list. It looks like a lot of reverends, a lot of preachers. I'm I haven't I haven't seen anything that doesn't have to do with religion on this list. Yeah, they're literally all religious leaders. Yep, all of them.
so one thing Biden says, the crime bill worked in some areas but failed in others. The violent crime rate was cut in half in America. So that's when people say anything against the crime bill, he's like, well, it cut crime in half. This is what factcheck.org had to say. The crime rate had been nearly cut in half, down 46% from 1994 to 2017. Okay, but Biden's suggestion that 94 legislation should be credited is misleading. We looked into a similar claim from Bill Clinton in 2016 and found experts pointed to other factors for most of the crime decrease. For instance, a 2005 report from the Government Accountability Office estimated that funding for community-oriented policing services, which resulted in tens of thousands of additional police officers, contributed to a 1.3% decline in overall crime rate from 93 to 2000 and a 2.5% decline in violent crime rate in 93 levels. But the GAO concluded that other factors were responsible for the majority of the drop in crime during the period. The total decrease violent crime was 32% from 93 to 2000. So basically, it's correlation, not necessarily causation. Yes, the 94 crime bill came out Yes, in a span of almost 20 years or over 20 years. So in 23 years, crime had been cut almost in half. But was that because of your legislation in 1994, or was it due to other things?
Right.
When you look at 20 plus years, it's hard to take one piece of legislation and pin it down on
I
that.
know there's a lot of cultural reasons behind that too. I mean, there has to be.
Yeah,
Has to be. And it's not like even the crime bill made the cultural reasons happen. It's just a evolving culture. That's how it
yeah.
goes.
My personal opinion, that's complete cause. It's causation or it's correlation. It's not causation.
Right. Yeah.
So, so to say it was due to the crime bill is just unfair.
Yeah.
Bad talking point.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Another thing you hear about the '94 crime bill, the Republicans these days are proud to say, man, we didn't even, because it's under fire for being racist, it's under fire for being uh, tough on crime. You know, on one hand they're saying, well, it did cut it by 46%, and the other time, on the other hand, they're saying like it's racist, it's strong-handed, it's unnecessarily tough, and Republicans are saying, hey man, look, see, the Democrats are the one who are against you. Us Republicans, we didn't vote for that bill.
Right.
We got your best interest in mind. But, all right, McConnell, who's been in the Senate since pterodactyls,
Yeah.
now the Senate Majority Leader did vote against the final version of the bill in August 1994, as did all but 8 Republican senators. All but 8 Republican senators. So this idea that
That's a solely.
bipartisanship is a
Yeah.
new thing is just literally ridiculous.
Yeah. That's a pretty heavy bill. I think they all knew it. It's pretty large.
Yeah, and that's the problem with bills, and it gets into that later. Is like they just try to pack so much into one bill
Yeah.
that it's just these super mega silly things. Uh, Months earlier, in November '93, the original bill had garnered nearly universal support in the Senate, with McConnell on the yes ledger. Why did McConnell switch his vote? Biden had a point that Republicans thought the bill had grown too soft. They objected to additional spending on the final bill, calling it pork, which is a funny word for it.
Yeah.
McConnell told CNN on August 15, 94, 10 days before the final Senate vote, the Kentucky Fraternal Order of Police this weekend came out against this crime bill because they thought it was porked up. It was going to be a bill basically about social workers, not police officers. So McConnell, and you can extrapolate and say a bunch of other Republicans thought these are a bunch of lost cause social justice issues. We want the money to go to police officers and lock these people up, and that's what we thought was going to happen. And here you are giving money to, I think the big thing was like these nighttime basketball. Did you see that stuff?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Which would, I mean, I don't. It wasn't a whole lot of money. They get into it later. McConnell said spending in the bill had gone from 22 billion. This is in '94, 22 billion.
Shit.
From 22 billion in the original Senate version to 33 billion in the conference report.
Oh.
He said after school programs were a worthwhile expenditure, but objected to spending on a midnight basketball league program, which became a talking point for critics of the bill. The final bill provided $377 million over 5 years to states and localities to be used for various education and community prevention efforts, including midnight sports leagues that included job training and other educational aspects. And you see that shit all the time with bills, is they'll take this massive bill and all this spending, and they'll take this little thing that's a part of, I mean, 377 million as a part of 33 billion is a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
And then to say that the midnight sports league is just a small part of that 377 million, and they take that and they say, we're not going to be frivolously spending on basketball. You know what I mean?
It's kind of whack.
And that's how they get you.
It's kind of like the sewage bill with Bevan. It's kind of same premise. They kind of just smacked.
I'm unfamiliar.
They smacked in the teacher's pension like the whole pension, all that garbage. He smacked that in and had a vote on that. Uh, and it was also a sewage, like a redistricting bill to basically like redistrict a part of a certain city or something like that, or I think a certain region for the sewage. But the teachers' pensions were thrown in with that bill, so they had to. He was talking about. I swear to God, I think I saw it was either C-SPAN or something, but it did say the title of the bill said nothing about teachers' pensions. It was about the sewage. That's whack. It's absolutely whack. That's the bill that got Bevin thrown out of the governor's mansion. That's facts, among other things. But tying in these little things with all this other stuff, and then people use that as points to be like, no, I'm not for it, and it's like a sly way to slide in, like things like that. I guess for certain people, I don't know.
So, and here's something Biden did. So, Biden referenced prisoners dancing in tutus in a '94 campaign ad for James Inhofe,
Wow.
who went on to win Senate seat in Oklahoma in that race. The ad mocked his Democratic opponent for supporting Clinton's, not Biden's, crime bill. Right now, it wasn't Biden's crime bill at this point. That included dance lessons and midnight basketball.
Wow.
So in '94, he was mocking the crime bill for having midnight basketball and dance lessons.
That's
and
kind
then
of stupid.
later touts and says, hey, I wrote the damn thing.
Wow.
Drug court. Biden wrote into law drug courts. Anyone arrested for a drug problem because they're addicted should be diverted into a drug court, not into a prison system.
What do you think about that?
All right, this is my anecdotal. Someone I have not been in drug court, thank God. Thank God. Drug court, I'm not going to say it's a bad thing. It's harsh, man. It's tough. Like, the success rate is astronomically low. Because what it does is it takes drug addicts, and it puts them in a very tough spot. Like, it just overwhelms.
I mean, what's the difference? Like, I don't understand what it is.
So when you get put in drug court, you're on the street. Okay, it's like being on probation, sort of,
right.
Except to the nth degree. So, all right, find a job, number one. Okay, and this is where things get lost in translation.
I mean, hey, look, hold on. Is it like a court system, or is it like CAP?
More
like in Kentucky.
More close to family court, if that makes sense.
I don't even know what you mean by that, really.
So you get the judge. Each drug court
has
its own judge. Be different. Each judge is going to have their own version of drug court.
Okay, and when you say that, you mean like our judge for our county would have his own drug court, or does he?
Yeah, they're going to have their own. They're going to have their own list of demands, so to speak, for each client. They're going to have their own penalties. They're going to have their own.
Well, does it kind of funnel into social work in a way? Kind of like they have a case,
because most all drug courts require you to take. I don't know any that don't require you to start going to AA or NA meetings, or require you to start going to like Adonta and going to outpatient treatment.
Right. Okay.
Small group.
I just don't understand. When I hear the words drug court, I think of a totally different courtroom. I don't know, just like a whole different setup.
They do, most of them, they meet once or twice a week. It's like you have your probation officer, and then you have your drug court officials, and they have all these rules. I mean, all these rules, dude. And it's like, you have to be home at a certain time. You can't be around certain people. You have to get a job. And here's where it's hard. Like, you have to get a job. Like, you call every day to find out if you got a drug test. It has different phases. All right, so good luck finding you a job that you can get back and forth to because you're a drug addict. drug addict, you don't have a vehicle. If
Right.
you're lucky, you got family members who are helping you out. All right, giving you rides back and forth. But now you got to find a job that's going to be okay with you leaving multiple times a week for hours at a time to go take drug tests randomly.
Right.
Or hey, I'm going to be late because I got this drug test. Or maybe you get a second or third shift job, and now you have to squeeze in drug tests, court appearances, IOP, all these different things um,
So
around your sleep schedule. It's like it's just the scheduling is ridiculous. That's why
right.
most people they just get overwhelmed and they say fuck
So it's kind of like having a probation officer, but like hardcore.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And like if you mess up, say you miss a meeting or you couldn't produce a sample or anything like they be like, well, okay, you got to spend 2 weekends in jail, you know, and then you come
Wow.
back out. Or, well, okay, you spend 2 weekends in jail, you probably lost your job. Or you spend a week or two in jail, you probably lost your job.
Right.
It's like, it stacks the odds against you so bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know so many people will be like, I will not take drug court just because it prolongs.
What that
it's
they'd
expensive.
almost rather take jail over it, honestly.
Oh, yeah. I'd say the majority of people would just be like, man, just let me do six
I mean,
months and I'll be out of here.
I've been on cap, but it wasn't for a drug related thing. Uh, it wasn't for a drug related thing, and that shit was awful, dude.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine having like, I had responsibilities then and stuff like that, but man, dude, that was hard, and all I had to, you know what I had to do? I drove my mother's car without insurance. I got pulled over. My mom didn't even know that she didn't have insurance. I just got in trouble. I had to go to CAP, and I had to
Was
bring
this
them.
at Danville?
Yes, yeah. I had
You know, did you, or go ahead and finish your story. I'm going to tell you about that, Cap.
I had to go and take them like a copy of my insurance monthly, and my bill that I'd paid it and everything. It was ridiculous, and that was ridiculous. I can't imagine having like no car, have to get a job. Got to get one by a certain time. Unemployment is even a little bit pressure-esque. But that, man, that's your life. You have to do. It's basically like, hey, get your life together. You're going to jail. That's rough. It's rough to do in the face of adversity. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think these people, they're not used to life on life's terms.
Right, and they're
You know what I
chemically
mean?
bound to not do the right thing, and they have to flip it. You just gotta.
Exactly.
It's fucked.
Exactly.
That's
Now,
nuts.
with that being said, it's helped a lot of people too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think it helps a lot of people more to the fact of it gets people into the correct places.
Right.
Like if they're going to these meetings.
Yes. To understand that
Uh,
there's a rehab route, not just like I'm fucked, gotta go to
yeah,
jail.
oh, okay. Here's these 12 steps. And now I got to work these 12 steps to get sober, and so I can learn how to deal with this bullshit drug court.
Right, man, that's awful, dude.
Acceptance and all that shit. So
It's
I am not a fan of drug court at
so
all.
so would you almost go out on a limb and say that you're kind of you're aligned with maybe seeing that it's a good thing that he wants to get rid of that? Because sitting here talking about it, it is rough. I don't know if it needs to be gotten rid of, but maybe
Does he want to
reformed.
get rid of drug court?
I think that I saw something about how I don't know. I need to shut up. I don't know. I'm just gonna say I don't know because I don't want to say.
I think the idea behind drug court is great for people who aren't drug addicts.
Right.
And then it's easy to say, well, we gave you a chance. When it's one of those, like most things, you don't know what all it entails until you've been there.
Yeah.
You know, it's easier for me to
Right.
discuss drug court. And for me, I say rehab over drug court every time. If it's bad enough where they need drug court, then put them in long-term rehab.
I did see
They're
where
going to
he
have a higher success rate.
I did see where he said that he would rather dismantle private prisons and rehab over prison, over jail.
Kentucky's been a model for that too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we're 23rd in education, 25th. We're, I mean, a 43rd in education, right?
Yeah,
40, something like that. We're at the bottom in education.
43rd.
Man, when it comes to rehab over jail, we're writing the book on that.
That's good. That's a good thing. Somebody needs to because it's something that needs a book written for it for sure because it's
Well, especially being the opioid capital of the world.
right. And definitely in the pipeline for sure from Ohio to Florida. Okay, listen. Before we continue, we're 15 minutes away from 2 hours. Like to, 2 hours it. But I know you've got a lot of stuff, right?
Oh yeah, this is a big one.
Right. Yeah. So here's what I would like to propose to you. Would you like to go down? And I'm not saying throw Joe Biden out because we clearly need to cover him. Would you like to go down this Politico list and maybe pick a few
Yeah,
things?
readdress at a later time.
Yeah, and then we'll definitely come back next time. I think we need to. There's a lot to dismantle.
Yeah, we can go down the list, look at his view.
And
what
hey,
they say.
do you have the Politico list pulled up? Because if you
Yeah.
don't, okay,
So
if you do,
what,
scroll down, pick some, and then I'll pick some too. And like things that may be important to you, and just throw them out. I don't know. Just kind of trying to make us not go fucking 3 hours. Because
it's broke up between elections and education, criminal justice, food and agriculture. So like it's a big, big list.
Yeah. But just big, like I picked abortion earlier, I think, or no, I didn't. That was a Kanye thing. I did pick minimum. Okay, so I'll start. Minimum wage. He wants it up, raise minimum wage to $15 an hour. What do you think? Not saying. What do you think about that? Totally, but
I mean, I think the studies that I've been shown by the right, so I'm admitting that there's probably some bias to it,
no.
have shown that minimum wage increase do not help.
Okay. I've seen a lot of things saying that cost of living continues to go up. I'm not.
Well, minimum wage doesn't.
Right, and something to explore because it's been a while since federal minimum wage.
I think what I see. I think the main argument against that is when wages go up, they just hike up prices and everything else.
Right.
Because the employer says, "Well, now I've got to pay you $15 an hour. I have to make that up. Somewhere. So now I have to increase the cost of goods."
I'm for raising federal minimum wage. I don't know about 15 an hour. I think that's double current. So that's.
Well, I mean, it's different state to state, right? So, like New York's minimum wage is like what, 11 an hour or something?
This is federal. So that's like across the board, right? Or am I?
Oh yeah. So yeah, it's still 725. They changed it. It used to be like 550 or some shit,
Yeah,
right?
It used to be real
Like
rough.
what, 15 years ago?
Mm-hmm. I think that's actually right.
And then they raised it to 725. And I could have swore back in like 14 or 15, they were like talking about raising it to 9 an hour.
I think it. I'm looking this up because I think it's 750.
Maybe that was Kentucky or something. I could have swore like it had already been talked about and like it was supposed to be going into effect or something. And
federal minimum. Okay, so January 1st, 2016 is when Kentucky initialized 725 an hour. Senator Thomas currently has a bill that will raise the minimum wage each year up until 2026 to 15 an hour in Kentucky. That's a current bill right now. Yeah, it obviously hasn't gone through. This must be like an older thing. It was like $1 a year. Yeah.
All right, so
now that's something that's been proposed and not went through. So
I'm not against I'm not against a raise in minimum wage. But I worry about the ramifications.
Right, like I think it needs to be. It obviously has been extensively researched, but I don't think 15 an hour will be the researched safe point. I feel like that's high. I feel like that's pretty wacky high.
Yeah, that's over double.
Yeah, that's pretty substantial. Kind of throw out there. I'm just gonna pick like. You have one for next time?
Yeah. So he has 3 points on gun control.
Mm-hmm.
Support a voluntary buyback program.
What do you think about that?
On assault weapons. So I mean, if it's voluntary buyback, it's voluntary.
Right.
So okay.
Right. Same.
Background checks in favor of universal background checks. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Weapon registry in favor of a national firearm registry. I thought we were already on that.
We are.
I understand there's some states that like you can bypass that stuff through gun shows and stuff like that.
Here,
So I'm for all three of those things. I know
same,
there are
same.
hardcore Second Amendment guys who are like,
I'm
you should,
I
you should be
consider
able to own a nuke
I
if you want
consider
to.
myself hardcore, pretty decently Second Amendment, common sense though, and I don't have a problem with any of those three things at all, none.
Here's something I found out. Did you know Trump is pro red flag law? Apparently.
I've heard that he said that. It's kind of one of those things where he said, "Take the guns first, ask questions later." That's a quote. But you know,
As
that's
I saw this big thing, it was like, "Hey, Trumpers, uh, he's not really pro second A, right?" And
right.
that was one of the
He
bullet
took
points.
he took bump stocks. Like I don't give a fuck that you took bump stocks, Trump. I don't care. I don't use a bump stock to protect my family, nor would I need one to protect my family.
Well, I just love how it's quick. Like something happens and President Trump did it.
Right. Well, all the libertarians are all like, "Nope, you don't. Nope, fuck Trump. He touched our
Well,
guns."
like you're gonna have people all the way left that says no one should be able to own a butter knife, and you're gonna have people all the way right who think, I mean,
That
not
that
necessarily left right, but on the issue,
right.
who think that
Far
you should
right
be
that
able to own a nuke if you want to. So
yeah, or the for and the like the spectrum goes from owning a nuke to you like he also can't touch firearms or like firearm accessories or we're gonna get pissed about our Second Amendment too because I didn't care that he banned bump stocks. That shit's stupid. It's dumb. I don't care about it. It didn't affect my right to be able to carry a firearm, so I don't.
so what is bump stock? It basically like it lets you
It,
do
it, it uses the
it lets you
recoil.
fly on back faster,
Right.
right?
Yeah, to
Basically,
almost.
pushing the gun back into your finger,
If you wanted
something
to,
like that.
yeah, it uses the recoil of the gun to heighten the rounds per minute, basically, of the gun. Like that's it. And that's all. In my opinion, if you want my take on it, that's altering the performance of a weapon. Period. I just don't think it. I don't have a problem with it being outlawed. I don't. If I can't,
It's not a hill I'm willing to die on, but I don't see any problem
yeah,
with them either.
that's. I mean, I don't either, but I don't see a problem with taking them because I mean, I can do that other ways. Like I could. There's a common tactic that guys will use their belt loop. They'll just put the butt of their gun in a belt loop, and same thing, it's the same exact thing. So I mean, it's just not didn't affect me whenever he did that. I don't know.
So that there's gun control. My views. I'm surprised. It's pretty. Not really. Nothing. I can really say anything bad about that.
Right. It's not really anything crazy. Cost of college. He thinks 2 years should be free of college. What do you think?
No,
Why?
just a knee jerk. I mean, someone's got to foot the bill. You gonna raise taxes? Where are you gonna raise them at? Like to just say college is gonna be free here.
I think
like,
2 years.
if that's what you want to do, do something like Germany and add optional extra high school or something.
I think 2 years of community college should be available and free.
I think it's already so affordable.
Right. And people don't even realize it. People with no income could go to college. They don't even realize it, probably.
Yeah, you can get paid to go to school if you pick the right school.
Mm-hmm. If you pick the school within your means, like
Yeah,
cost
exactly.
cost wise.
Exactly.
Let's hit a few more here. We got like 5 more minutes until 2 hours. I don't want to immediately end it at 2 hours, but enough to get a point. The rest of the big points across that are voter, points, and then next time we'll continue, I guess, on deep shit.
Campaign finance. Unlimited spending should not be allowed in politics.
Wow.
Disagree 100% on that.
Oh yeah. Wow. Is that a knee-jerk thing, or you want to expand? Because I'd like to know what the hell you mean by that. I think it's crazy.
Sure. I mean, who's to say someone can't spend their money the way they want? And if that means, why not?
The way that I think about this is money affects numbers here, because it does. Your campaign affects your numbers. Obviously, your platform does too, and what you say not on your platform, like on Twitter, like Trump. But I don't like seeing super PACs just like pump people full of money so that they're because I'll be honest with you, Joe Biden doesn't have he's considered a pretty moderate Democrat. He doesn't really have like a strong, hardcore, super left ideology. So um, I feel like on some things he's kind of tangible, like kind of like iffy. And these PACs are just going to be throwing money at him just like he's, a Bernie or something like that. Like he's finite in his ideals and has been finite for 30 years.
Well,
Um,
I don't have the proof. This is just all anecdotal, knee jerk, not doing any research. But I mean, look at the amount of money Bernie Sanders raised, went through.
right, right.
Didn't help him none.
Hey, but you want to hear something cool about why this applies to that? You want to know? You know the average campaign contribution of Bernie Sanders for Bernie Sanders? You want to know what it is?
It was like what, like $20 per person, $16 per person.
You're right in it being low, but it's like I think it was like $10.12. I think that's what it was. Pretty sure. That's wild. Now, what does that mean? What does that tell you? That tells you obviously some people cared about him. Now, I'm not saying that you could just look at that and be like, oh, well, I'm making numbers up. $300,000 was from this, so that's crazy. But like, people cared about Bernie, and he's not the nominee right now, and he should be, man. I'm not the one to say that.
DNC's. I don't even understand how that works. Like,
Okay,
shouldn't there?
I'll be honest. It's a lot. It's a lot to do with campaign finance. I mean, they probably saw more.
How does that work? Like,
They probably.
in my view, like it would go like, okay, we have 20 Democratic people running for office. Okay, until they decide to drop out or not, go to the polls.
Right.
Primaries. This is who we vote for. Now, like, why does the DNC get to choose who their
Money.
person is and not their
Money.
electorate?
Money.
Like, shouldn't that be voted on by the constituents?
That could be a part of campaign finance law.
Like, I don't understand why that's like, okay, here's all, like, what's the point of having all these debates and all this polling and stuff like that if it's not even up to the people?
Yeah, it's just up to the money. It's up to how much money. I mean, that's what it is. The
Like,
whoever the DNC who chooses is our primary vote. But then whoever the DNC chooses to endorse, that's exactly what they're doing. They're putting all their money for him, like all their money to him. Campaign finance laws need to. No, I'm not saying put a cap on it, but
so so Bernie was still running,
right. And mind you, this is the second time this has happened to him. Remember that.
and so Bernie's running for president. The Democratic National Convention comes and says, "Hey, we support Biden though. Y'all can still vote for whoever you want, but we as a party say Biden."
Right.
And then, so what the idea of that is that sheeple will go, "Oh well, the DNC says Biden, so that's who I'm voting for." Well, that just changed my mind. It sounds like that's the people's fault for not.
I've always
doing
kind
the
of been
research.
for some sort of campaign finance reform, and that's a very not Republican thing to say, but that's just the way it is. I think it's a little bit crazy. It's kind of like
I don't
unregulated.
think you should have a whole political party say, "Well, this is who we pick." I think it should be, well, this person endorses this person, and it should be. I think it should all be person to person, and not say the DNC supports this person.
I
That's
agree.
weird. That doesn't make sense.
The DNC is just a collective of donors, man. That's all it is. No shit. Seriously. Literally all it is.
How many people who don't get the nominee, how often do they win?
Or, like, how many people win that aren't endorsed by the DNC?
Yeah.
It's wrong. I'm wrong. I would say very close to the number 0. That's what I'm going to bet on. Like, if an independent candidate, about as much chance as an independent candidate winning, I feel like. About the same. Of course, that's like a jumbled.
How much of that falls on the DNC, and how much of that falls on the American people?
Vote for people that fucking like campaign finance laws, and we wouldn't have a problem like what happens currently. So probably a lot of the people, to be frank, probably a lot of our Republican candidate right now, aka the president we've had for almost 4 years. It's kind of like Obama not and this is something really stupid, but not pointing the KKK out as a terrorist organization. Like, why the fuck wouldn't you just do it, dude? Like, you should just do it. I don't know what Trump could do for campaign finance, because he would get his ass grilled, but
I don't know. Just on the surface, it's a very confusing subject, and I don't understand a lot of the correlations. But on its surface, to tell someone or a group of people you're only allowed to spend X amount of money on something is just doesn't make sense to me.
I completely agree with like telling people where their money can and can't go, but when that money influences like the leaders of our nation for the next 4 years, for sure, gotta fucking.
Well, then what's next? Only X amount of tweets allowed to send. Only X amount of.
Fuck
like,
me,
everything.
dude. We're gonna have a dumbass president with his mouth running like we have right now. I would almost just.
You know what I'm saying though? Like, okay, so. All right, so you're saying money unfairly chooses the president
in campaign
Once we
finance.
Put a cap on that.
In campaign
Once we put
finance.
a cap on that, what's next? How much airtime someone gets? How much?
I don't know, but I won't vote for the person that fucks with that, because that's semantic bullshit. The fact that the DNC for 8 years now has knocked Bernie Sanders out of a chance at maybe becoming our president because they just don't like what he does. Because of money? Because they knocked him out.
He's radical. Dude is radical.
He's radical, but he's been there for 30 years. And I really feel like he would at least pander somewhat. I think he would try to meet in the middle on a lot of things. I just think he's just said what he's said for 30 years. I like that about him a lot.
So
that's a total Joe Rogan
for me on
point,
campaign finance, it's just a confusing subject at this matter that I'm just not informed enough on.
Scrap the disparity. It's a weird way to put that. Just reading on something we had up. All right, you ready to end it? You good?
Yeah, dude.
All right. Okay. So the usual.
I feel like we brought a lot of facts to the table tonight.
Yes, there was a lot of factual things presented. Not even really so much discussion, which is always good. Still works. Hey Drew Clayman. Hey Smiley 2007. Hey Goodfella. Hey Bofa D's Nuts. Hey Spectre 987. Hey PDE Panda. And hey David Green. Thanks everybody for watching. If you watched
live, we didn't get a single comment on Facebook.
Yeah, no. Well, David, that's it. I don't know where he said it, but that's about it. But thanks everybody for watching, tuning in. If you're listening on Spotify or something, thanks for listening to us on there. Yeah.
Fight the good fight.
Fight the good fight, peeps. And thanks again for listening, guys. And we'll see you next Wednesday, boys and girls.